Hey, Athena, can I tell you a joke?
Sure.
I enjoy my life.
Ha 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 ha
Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite albums. And today, I'm going to do an album review on the latest Justin Bieber album, Justice. Justin Bieber, Canadian singer, songwriter, pop guy, dude, bro, Justin Bieber, he's back with an album immediately after releasing Changes last year. Changes, which ended up as one of my least favorite albums of 2020 because it's just so goddamn boring. But now he's back and with confidence. This time he named the album Justice and had the T turn into a cross. And this has caused some controversy for my man Justin because the French electronic duo Justice actually sent a cease and desist letter to Justin Bieber saying that, hey, you can't copy our stuff. But given that it's Justin Bieber, he went on with it. So, Justice. I wouldn't say it's as bad as Changes, but it's bad. It's bad. So I'm gonna go over this thing song by song, but at this point there is really not much. There isn't much I can do for it. I guess I can do this album some favor by talking about the songs I like first. First off, we have "Off My Face," the fourth track, which is a pretty genuine ballad. You know, it shows a more genuine and authentic side of Justin Bieber. And while these ballads aren't like emotional or anything, they aren't the best ballads ever. At least there is some feelings to it. Similarly, the album ending, Lonely, is also a really nice ballad, and lyrically, it is about feeling isolated, feeling lonely, feeling alienated when growing up with fame, and it's a bit of a personal moment that is really nice. My favorite song on this album is easily Peaches featuring Danielle Caesar and Giveon. And yeah, they do give some pretty nice features, and overall, this is a really smooth and soulful song with a nice melody and chords, really. But the rest of the album is once again a big flop for me. First of all, we have Too Much, which is a really mediocre and lackluster opener, immediately puts me to sleep. The track Deserve You and then later in the track Hold On are two tracks that dabble a little bit into the 80s musical styles. Ever since ever since 2018, 2019, actually in 2017, people are already beginning to do this 80s revivalism thing. And recently, we even have artists like The Weeknd, Dua Lipa, Miley Cyrus, and Carly Rae Jepsen trying to bring back the 80s. 80s nostalgia, it is basically a genre in and of itself nowadays. And Justin Bieber has finally hopped onto this gravy train, and maybe a little too late because at this point it's kind of overused already. It's kind of boring already. It's getting bored. It's getting drabbed. And yeah, the track Hold On is even more confusing and head scratching because not only does it have these 80s influences, it also has these melodies which eerily sounds like Gautier's Somebody That I Used to Know. Also, we get these very patronizing lyrics all over this album, which is, again, one of Justin's biggest weaknesses. As I Am is another really lackluster song. What really catches my attention on the song is the chorus. Na, na, as I am, na, 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 I am. It's so bouncy, and it's not even in a fun way. It's just so awkward, and it's so funny. The track Holy is, for some reason, a gospel song featuring Chance the Rapper, who gives a absolutely terrible verse. And we have Unstable, which is a very bland, quiet song with the same few lyrics. Again, very patronizing lyrics about love, about wanting to make love. and all that stuff. We get it, Justin. You're loving. Yeah. Somebody is a very generic pop song with these really washed out reverby instrumentals that are just very basic. Ghost has these very awkward, clunky instrumentals. Lyrically, it is again about if I'm not close to you, I'd settle for the ghost of you. Um, Love You Differently is immediately followed by Loved by You, and both of these songs, lyrically and instrumentally, are basically the fucking same, where the former is a tropical flavored beat again. The beats are basically boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, or a variant of sorts. And the next track is also pretty similar. Uh, it's very uninspired. The track Anyone is another very generic and lackluster song, and that is it for the album. But actually, let's take a step backwards and see the real biggest problem with this album, and that is the MLK samples. Justin Bieber sampled Martin Luther King Jr. in this album. And Martin Luther King Jr., he's a really important person. He's a really important political activist, civil rights activist, and I totally agree with his sentiments. But here's the thing: Justin Bieber is not making an album commenting on like the socio-political climate of the society or anything. This album is very much not that. This album is very much about his love, and it's so disgusting. It's honestly kind of sickening, especially how Justin Bieber manipulates Martin Luther King Jr.'s speeches into something as if Martin Luther King Jr. is talking about this freaking album. And not only do we have Martin Luther King Jr. speeches samples all over this album, we also have an entire interlude dedicated to Martin Luther King Jr., where he says a speech about how everybody needs something to live for and to die for as well, which is immediately followed by the track Die For You, and you being Justin Bieber's love interest. Haley, I think she's called. Yeah. Why? Why? In context, Martin Luther King Jr. is basically talking about how, being a civil rights activist is something he lives for and he will die for. And Justin Bieber has to completely twist his words into his own context. And it's disgusting. It's absolutely sickening. And very distasteful. It's kind of egocentric, actually. Oh, you know what? I'm going to manipulate and twist words from a really influential and important person and then turn it into something part of a lubby-dubby pop album. Essentially, that's what Justin Bieber's doing. Yeah, it's very disrespectful, it's disgusting, and my favorite song here is Peaches. My least favorite song here is Love You Differently, I guess. I mean, there isn't one terrible song here that makes me go, oh, puke, disgusting. But yeah, the songs are pretty generic. I'm giving Justin Bieber's Justice a strong 3 out of 10. So, have you listened to Justin Bieber's Justice? From 1 to 10, would you rate it, like it, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. Movie review tomorrow. Is that right, Athena? Is that right?